Welcome back to the Atheist Viewpoint. I'm Ellen Johnson, the president of American Atheists, and this is my co-host, Dennis Horvitz. Over and over again, Dennis and I talk about where atheists tend to have the most problems in confrontations with religious extremists, or where there is a lot of religious proselytizing where perhaps it shouldn't be. And we share this information with you in our magazine, and this is the May-June 2007 issue of American Atheist magazine. And one of the columns we have in the magazine is called A Personal Story, because it's important to talk about the issues we feel we deal with that occur on a personal level, because everything that we do isn't just about abstract notions of state-church separation, lawsuits, and the law. Religion affects us where we live. It affects us very deeply, very personally, in the military, when we go to school, in the workplace, in the prisons. Atheists do have a hard time in society, and a lot of times religious people behave inappropriately. So there is a need for the work that we do. I receive a lot of emails every day from people talking about where the religious are encroaching more and more into the public area. And they want to know if something is constitutional or whatever. How can we help? So if you have a personal story about how religion has personally affected you in your life, please email it to me, and I will be happy to take a look at it. Incidentally, this is Dr. James Yar, atheist and humanitarian, doing volunteer work in Guatemala. I just want to share one of these profiles with you so you can get an idea of what we're looking for, you can get an idea of what's in the magazine, and you can get an idea of what atheists face in the public schools. Last week we talked about what an atheist faces in the military. This is one experience in how young people are speaking up more and more. His name is Reed Braden. Here's a picture of Reed Braden. We're very proud of him. And this was his story. He says, "It is the last semester of my senior year of high school, and I have had some issues with my health teacher, Mr. L., at my high school in Virginia. He is a religious nut who is entirely unqualified to teach. I have talked to several other teachers who also believe this. On January the 17th of 2007, we were covering the basics of kindergarten health class, and he described, quote, wellness, end quote, as being comprised of physical, mental, and emotional health. A correct definition of the word, but he added his own criterion, religious health. He then asked for a show of hands of who has ever done anything wrong. I did not raise my hand and stated that it really depends on whose morals we judged goodness on. He ignored my comment and went on to say, you've all messed things up. There was only one person who never did anything wrong, and that was Jesus Christ. An obvious endorsement of Jesus Christ. I immediately complained to the principal, and the school did absolutely nothing for weeks. On February the 5th of 2007, the principal confronted me in the hallway after 3 weeks of procrastination and told me that she talked to him. This was only after I left a Post-it note with the American Atheist letterhead on her door calling for immediate action. In no way did I say American Atheist Inc. was involved, but the letterhead seemed to speed up her decision to slap him on the wrist. The day before this encounter, however, Mr. L. was at it again. He showed a movie about wrestlers losing weight through bulimia that had a very religious tone to it and was virtually pointless. There was not a single positive role model in the movie, yet my teacher, a wrestling coach first, a teacher second, praised the father coach on how he forced his son into competition. The movie also taught very little about bulimia and taught nothing about health and fitness, except that prayer was often the best method of healing disease and securing victory for sports teams. If this was true, why haven't the New Orleans Saints been to the Super Bowl yet, he says. The day after the movie and a few hours after the principal told me about her punishment for my teacher, he told the class that human hair deflects 20 pounds per square inch of impact trauma to the head. To demonstrate this point, he called a student to the front of the room and began to hit him on the head, showing how his hair, quote, makes the blows glance off his head, end quote. At no point prior to hitting this boy did Mr. L explain to the student that he was going to physically hit him. He completely took this child by surprise. He later explained to the class that this demonstration was perfectly acceptable because the student was also one of his wrestlers. After he had finished his lesson, I questioned him about the hair statement. I asked him to show me a medical or scientific journal or article explaining this shock absorption phenomenon. He told me that between coaching regular wrestling and pee-wee wrestling, he had no time to find evidence to support his claims in the classroom. Basically, that he left his research up to faith that he was right. He also told me that because he was a teacher, he was naturally smarter than me, and so I must be wrong. I was able to muster the words, "You still believe in God, so you can't be that smart." Though through the haze of dumbfounded speechlessness, honestly, I cannot believe 90% of what this man says, and I can barely believe that he's actually saying 80% of it. Immediately following the class, a teacher in the hallway overheard me telling one of my friends that Mr. L is an idiot and told me that she agreed 100% and wanted me to start recording his classes. Her exact words were, quote, "I don't want anyone to think I'm not a Christian. I am, but I wouldn't let that man teach my son for anything. What he is saying is wrong. Religion has no place in a health class," end quote. Nothing was done to stop his religious outbursts. When I went through the proper channels and attempted to start a petition to have him removed, I was immediately taken from his class. Instead of fixing the problem, they removed me from his class because I was offended. I passed on the petition to another student who was in his class, but it was stolen from her and shredded. My school makes claims on their website to be the #1 public high school in the Roanoke Valley. Apparently that only applies to those who are looking for a great religious institution.
Well, I'm just wondering if the principal, school board, I think they like these things to just go away. I think that's one thing. They don't even want to get
He's
involved.
still at it.
That teacher
The
is still?
teacher is still at it. Yeah.
Well, it also may be an issue of tenure as well. Although I would think that there are certain areas where you can kind of cross a line.
But this is an example, one example of what American Atheists reports about. We get involved in this. Yes, we are involved in this. I really don't remember where that was. We have so many issues that, I really don't remember what happened with that issue. I think that he wanted to let it go. He's out of high school, so he can't be a plaintiff, okay, in trying to stop anything. He's out. But this goes on in so many places we can't keep track.
Right.
And so an organization like American Atheists at the national level is very important, and we hope that you agree with us and support the work that we do.
Because, of course, then there was the Matthew LeClaire situation, which came out well.
And he's going to be on the show soon.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, we interviewed him on New York City Atheists live on tape, but that was before the decision was made.
The schools are under siege.
Yeah.
The prisons, the workplace, and the military. And if it hasn't affected you yet, believe me, it probably will.
Right.
All right. So we're going to jump to an email.
Sorry.
Jump to an email.
Yeah. This is one kind of a dicey situation. This was from a member, I guess, or a fellow atheist at least, who's kind of got a family problem, which brings us to our next segment, Ask Mr. Zeitgeist. Okay, so, just kidding about that. No, I'm not.
Read it.
All right, sorry. I have recently admitted to myself that I'm an atheist. I am 56. I was raised a Catholic, but it never took. I always had questions that religion didn't answer, and most of the stuff that they were trying to teach me just didn't make sense. In any case, he goes on to say, I have a little problem that maybe you can give me some advice on. My daughter believes pretty much the same way I do, and she's very tolerant of how other people think. Her boyfriend is a Seventh-day Adventist, and they have a son who I love dearly. Sometimes we attend family events where there are prayers and such, and my wife